Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Aaron coming to you live from Studio 146, and I got the power of Atlantis in my hand.
Oh, crap.
So, if this is any indication of a hint for we're continuing our series, obviously a top 10 most underrated Disney movies list, and for our number 7, we are talking about none other than Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
Yes,
We
are.
This movie came out back in June 3rd, 2001. Some of y'all probably weren't even born yet.
Nope.
So you'll be noticing as we get closer to the years of like 2000 and stuff, these budgets are getting bigger and bigger. So for this budget, it was $120 million budget.
Whew. And you could tell.
Yeah, and then it grossed, but unfortunately only grossed like 186.1.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big profit. They really didn't gain a lot. I mean, they didn't even gain their money back. But this movie is great. And it had a lot of potential. And well, what do you think? Give us your thoughts.
No, yeah. I mean, Atlantis, we could definitely tell the shift in differences between what Disney was trying out. We grew up with the era of the Renaissance, so there was a lot of princesses, a lot of musicals, and like we've been reviewing in the series, Atlantis was one of those special movies that didn't have the characters singing. It had a good soundtrack, very good plot. The fact that you have this ensemble of characters with different characteristics, trying to explore this mythical land that we all grew up in Greek mythology thinking of what could have been, what was it. I mean, we recently just saw it again explored with Aquaman. Atlantis has always been like this huge thing for people when it comes to like exploring and all this kind of stuff. And I think one of the biggest highlights right away from the beginning is the way they introduce the main character, which is Milo, voiced by the great actor and at the time Michael J. Fox, and at the time I believe he was already struggling and still is with the Parkinson's disease. That's why he's no longer really acting anymore. And that right there already kind of tells you the investment that Disney did have. But again, let's first dive into the highlights, at least for me, and then I'll let you speak when it comes to that. The ensemble is great. Yeah. I remember watching this movie as a kid. And I always loved as a kid watching a show or a movie that had an ensemble of a team going to explore. And growing up in a family of 4 boys, me being the third, we all always like pick the one we are, So you have your doctor, which is this tall, buff, black dude. You have this mole that digs, and he's French. And then you have this guy that I think is from Russia, and he's a dynamite guy. Something like that from Bulgaria or Poland. I don't know where he's from. You have this teenager Mexican that's the mechanic. There are some stereotypes there.
Latino representation.
Yeah, so exactly. You have some minorities being represented there. You have the hot, but at the same time weird, mysterious, tough woman that's a blonde, that's a spy. And then you have your typical American man that's the pioneer and the leader of the whole team.
The commander.
You have the 2 oddballs, which in this case is the cook, which is this guy from the South. And you have this old retired lady that's
that guy is hilarious, man.
He is,
I can't understand half the words that are coming out of his mouth most of the time. It's always just like
cracks you up. It reminds me of the guy from Waterboy. And it's like what? So like even as a kid, like those things, and then you have also the old lady that's the communications expert and all that stuff. So it's really cool and
very diverse.
That for me was a very highlight. But I want talk to me a little bit about what you thought of the animation, which I thought was very special in this movie compared to other movies that we see in Disney. This animation was particularly nice.
Yeah, the animation was really, really nice, really dope. Especially like the landscape shots.
Yes,
it looked like you're looking at a painting of Leonardo da Vinci or something. Like the way they did the landscape, like how they drew up the clouds, the mountains, and the color. It was almost like a painting, and it was so very nice and so very beautiful.
And you could tell in the budget they had, And I mean, even I remember watching as a kid the sequence when they're in the submarine. The submarine, first of all, is legit. I mean, the stuff they're using is super awesome, but the sequence where the submarine first is underwater and they're being chased by this huge monster. I remember when I first saw that, and even right now as I was looking at it again, the CGI holds up pretty nice, man. It wasn't like that weird looking like robotic thing. It was fluid. It was moving. And again, the landscape was beautiful. Atlantis itself, like the road to Atlantis, that whole plot, the first act
like-
or the second
like
act, you want to say?
The montage.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All that was really nice. I mean, you could really tell that they invested, the artists and the writers invested time in making sure that they fleshed out the fact that it looked like it was a hard road to get to Atlantis. And like
It
you
was
said,
like
that-
an actual adventure, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
they give you that real good sense of adventure, you know? And the movie was really good, very great, but it also had its cons to it, you
Yes.
know? And unfortunately, I think this might be the reason why it probably didn't
Do so
get
good.
as much hype or do so good because, you know, when we were kids, we did not notice this, but we're doing this series, we're going back to watch all these movies again. And when we went back and watched this movie again, we noticed that third act is so rushed.
Yeah. What happened?
What happened? I don't know
Maybe
if
they
it
cut
like
their budget.
Yeah,
I don't know what it
Disney
was.
rushing them or something
Yeah.
to like get it out, but like it from there it just went like, all right, we're here and
Let's land the ship.
Plot
Let's
twist.
land the plane.
It's like plot twist. The commanders are back. Like what?
And they're all
then-
a-holes. It's
and
like,
they're-
what?
Yeah, and they're all messed up, and they're just here to steal everyone's like treasure and things, and they don't care about these people. Really,
Yeah.
Milo's the only one that's staying his ground and saying like, we gotta help these people. You guys are messed up.
And then they change.
And then all of a sudden they change, the crew changes, and all of a sudden they feel like, oh yeah, Milo, you're right. You know, we're gonna fight with you.
Exactly.
And then you have this fight sequence, which is really, really nice, really
Not bad.
good, real dope, and everything. But yeah, it's like so rushed right away,
Exactly.
so rushed. You know, they fight, they defeat the commander.
They really dropped the ball on this because, again, you have a very great ensemble of characters, great voice cast. You have a good storyline, and I would have loved it if, like, when they got to Atlantis, they would have explored Atlantis. Like, they would have been
Yes.
like, okay, we're gonna leave, but you know what? Like, they would have done something around the lines of like, we need gas, or like, we're kind of stranded here. You guys got to help us out. And it would have been almost like, you know, it reminds me a little bit like El Dorado, where it's like
Yeah, that's what I thought about
yeah,
too.
you know what I'm saying? Like the natives are actually helping them. Say like, hey, you know what? It's part of our culture to be hospitable. Let us help these guys out. And as they're helping each other out, the characters, because low key, as they're going into Atlantis, they do give us a glimpse of the commander and his second in command, which
Yeah.
was a lady, basically saying like, hey, are we still gonna do this because we didn't plan
Like
for there to
it's-
be people?
Yeah, she's like, there's people now.
Is
Like,
this changed the
like,
plan? And he's like, this doesn't change anything. So you already know, like, okay, something is off here, but you don't know if it's for the whole team.
Yeah, I really feel like this movie needed to be 2 hours. Because this
least. Mm-hmm.
movie was an hour and a half, I believe, right? An hour and like
Add another 30 to
an hour
20
and
minutes,
35 minutes. I think they really needed like an extra 30 minutes or 20 minutes, at least to show all that, you know, to show, you know, really flesh out the whole like
Definitely.
building up to this plot twist. And, you know, actually making us care for the Atlanteans, actually
Definitely.
making us care for Kida. And like you say, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, because I mean, technically she's a Disney princess, but nobody talks about her.
her.
Because unfortunately, they didn't take the time with her, you know.
And she was actually, if you think about
And she
it,
seemed like a real cool, bad, you know, chick.
yeah. And like, if you think about it, she would have been one of the first, or before another princess we're gonna mention later on in another video, she would have been the first minority princess that would, because she was literally royalty. I mean, she literally had the essence of the power of whatever was giving them light.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like,
And
I mean, like,
it was definitely
like we got like Mulan, you know, and stuff. But if you really think about it, technically Mulan is not a princess. She's a warrior. But everyone considers her a princess because, you know, like she's such a cool female character. Anyways, it is what it is, unfortunately. But you guys, even though besides all that bad, you know, besides that mishap with the third act, this movie is still worth watching.
like you said, definitely worth a watch for a kid and even as an adult to reminisce on maybe what could have been, but at the same time appreciate the fact that it's like, hey, this is different.
I think that's it. I think that's all we got for you guys today. So that was our number 7. Yes. Number 7 pick, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. It got a sequel, but
Let's not talk about
let's
that.
not talk about that. All right, guys. So that's it for us today. I know you guys probably might be thinking, I thought, you know, we're probably, you know, I've mentioned in the video before that we were going to talk about a princess, but we analyzed the list and we moved some things around. So next week for sure. So tune in next week. We will be talking about a certain Disney princess. And this one actually does have songs. This one actually does have musicals.
Very good. Very good
So,
stuff.
but why is it underrated? Well, you're going to find out. So tune in next week,
See you guys
guys.
next time.
Again, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at studio_146. And peace out.